Hi, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. Today I'm going to be performing a neuro test. Do you have any questions?
No, I don't.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and start. I'm going to start with cranial nerve 1, which is the olfactory nerve. If you could close your eyes for me, please. Okay. And what do you smell?
Coffee grounds.
Okay, so cranial nerve 1 is intact. Next, I'm going to check cranial nerve 2, which is the optic nerve. With the optic nerve, I would ask her to look at the Snellen chart to test her visual acuity. And now I'm going to check her visual fields. When you see my fingers, just say now.
Now. Now. Now.
Okay. Cranial nerve 3 is ocular motor. I'm going to check her eyes reaction, her eyes and her pupils reaction to light. Okay, and both of her pupils are reactive to light. Next, I'm going to check cranial nerve 4, which is the trochlear nerve. And with the trochlear nerve, I'm going to test for convergence. You can keep your eyes on the pen light. Okay. Both eyes equally converge. Next, I want to check cranial nerve 5, which is trigeminal. With the trigeminal nerve, I'm going to ask you if you could bite down. Okay. I'm going to massage her masseter muscles, and I can feel those, and her temporal. Okay, and you can relax. All right, if you could close your eyes for me. And did you feel anything sharp or dull?
I felt something sharp.
Okay. And did you feel anything sharp or dull?
It was dull.
Okay. So her trigeminal nerve is intact. Next, I'm going to check cranial nerve 6, which is the abducens. I'm going to check her visual fields using the H method. You can look at my finger. Or it can be considered the star method as well. But her abducens nerve is intact. Next, I'm going to check cranial nerve 7, which is the facial nerve. Okay, if you could raise your brow. Can you smile? Frown? Puff your cheeks? Show your teeth? Okay, cranial nerve 7, facial nerve is intact. Next, I'm going to do cranial nerve 8, which is the vestibulocochlear nerve. I'm going to start with the whisper test. If you could cover your ear, and I'm going to whisper a series of letters and numbers, and you can repeat them back to me.
2JK.
Okay, opposite ear.
B2K.
Okay, whisper test passed. Now I'm going to do the Weber's test, and when you stop hearing, you can say now.
Now.
Okay, and did you hear in both ears?
Yes, I did.
Okay, alrighty. So she passed the Weber's test. Next, we're gonna do the Ryan's test.
Now. Now.
Okay, I'm gonna test the other ear.
Now. Now.
Okay, and with the Rhines test, air conduction was greater than bone conduction, so she passed the Rhines test. Next is number 9, which is the glossopharyngeal nerve. With that one, I'm going to ask you to say ah, and I'm going to look at the movement of her uvula.
Ah.
Okay. Glossopharyngeal is intact, and I did see movement of her uvula. Next, I'm going to check the vagus nerve. The way I would do that is I would elicit the gag reflex by pressing the tongue blade at the base of her tongue or in the tonsillar area. If a gag reflex is present, that means that the vagus nerve is intact. Okay. For number 11, which is the accessory or spinal accessory, I'm going to make sure that her movement of the spinal accessory is intact. Okay, if you could turn your head no for me and I can meet resistance. You can do it slowly. Thank you. Next way. Next way. Okay. I'm gonna do it one more time. If you could turn your head into my hand. Thank you. Okay. And next, if you can shrug your shoulders. Okay. All right. So cranial nerve 11, spinal accessory is intact. Next, cranial nerve 12, which is hypoglossal. If you could stick out your tongue for me, move it up, down, side, side. Okay, the movement of cranial nerve 12 is intact for hypoglossal. Okay, next, if you can walk forward for me on your tippy toes about 5 steps. All right, and walk backwards towards me on your heels. Okay, you can stand right here and close your eyes and make sure your feet are together. Okay, so you passed the Romberg's test. You can have a seat back on this chair, please. Next, I'm going to check your movements. If you can switch with your palms in the back of your hands and flip them back on your legs like this. This is called the Rapid Alternative Movement Test. Okay. All right, if you could close your eyes and touch your finger with your nose. Okay, and test the opposite hand. All right, good. Finger to nose test was good. Next, if you could take your shin, if you could take your heel and rub it down your shin, and opposite, do it, switch a few times. Okay, alrighty, thank you. Next, I'm going to check your deep tendon reflexes. I'm going to start with your triceps. You can relax your arm for me. Okay. Okay. And now I'm gonna do your biceps. Okay, let's see which way is easier for me to hold you. Okay. So I'm gonna support the arm. I'm gonna check your biceps. Okay. Now I'm gonna do the brachioradialis. Okay. Next, I'm gonna check the patellar. And Achilles. Okay, and I'm gonna check the other side. All the D10s on this side were +2. Okay, so that was the triceps. Next, I'm gonna do the biceps. Okay. Brachioradialis. Okay. Patellar. And that's the Achilles. Let me check this. Sorry. Okay. Deep tendon reflexes are +2 bilaterally, and that concludes the neuro test.